Alright, welcome to another episode of Backyard Kayaking. And today, we're going to go over some of the things you might not know that you need to know before you go kayak camping. So, let's say you've got yourself a new kayak and a canoe, or a canoe, and you want to go camping. You've got all this camping gear, and you're ready to go, but you don't know what you need to know before you go. So that's what I'm going to do in this video. I'm going to tell you guys a little bit about what we do in the pre-planning and the planning phases of going camping. So some of the things I'm going to go over in this video are going to be making a float plan, making reservations, making sure your car doesn't get towed, double checking the weather and the water levels, doing a pack up dry run, which will also include double checking all your food and resupplying your first aid kit or your medical kit. This channel is all about kayaking camping. So if you like kayaks and camping, paddling, everybody loves a good paddle, then like, share, and subscribe. So stick around. All right, so you plan on making a trip. You bought yourself a kayak or a canoe and you're ready to go camping. You think it's gonna be awesome. So you decided, let's get all this camping equipment. Okay, cool, I have all my stuff. There's my stuff. What do I do now? Well, these are some of the things you might not know, you need to know before you go. Oh, he said the name of the video again. So like I had mentioned before, a float plan. This is the number one thing that you need to make sure you have. A float plan is essentially where you're going to stop along the river. And this is a just in case sort of piece of information. You want to give details about how far you're gonna go each day and where you plan on getting on and getting off the river. This sheet should be filled out and handed to a trusted member of your family or a trusted friend. And this is a just in case you don't get off the river on time, so that if something were to happen to you, they have a tentative idea of where you might be. So along with the float plan is making reservations. We're doing the Swanee River in a couple of days and it's gonna be a lot of fun, but along those river camps there's a state park in between. So we had to make a reservation. So what I'm saying is, do your research, figure out where you're gonna go, make your float plan, and then along with that float plan, make the reservations necessary. Go ahead and do it months in advance. It'll be fine. And that also brings me to a point of where you're going to park your car or cars if you shuttle yourself. We shuttle ourselves. Because we're parking two cars, we have to call two different places in advance to make sure that our cars are parked appropriately and they're not gonna get towed. Because one of the worst things that can happen is you make your float plan, you make all these plans, you're going down the river, you're having an awesome time, it's great. You get to the end and, dude, where's my car? That sort of thing. You don't want that to happen. So make sure you call your start and your finish boat ramps or state-run parks or wherever you're parking your car and make sure that you understand what it takes to get your car to stay there. So for us, it's gonna be a state park and it's $5 a night, so 25 bucks, and our car is going to be there the whole time. It's awesome. And that brings me to my final piece of research that we do. Checking the weather and the water levels. Checking the weather is a big one. You don't want to get out there and all of a sudden, there's a hurricane. You don't want to do that. Why? Because hurricanes are bad. I'm just saying, you don't want to be on a river and there's a hurricane. If you're doing a big adventure, obviously the longer you go, the harder it is to plan for weather because the weather changes. Even forecasters can't get it right. Yes, the weather changes, but you can have a tentative idea as you're making your float plan and making your reservations and everything. As the days lead up to it, I always double check the weather. This also helps you pack up what you need, because let's say it's 90 degrees during the day and 60s at night. You might not need that extra blanket. You might not need that extra thick clothing. Or it could be 50s in the day and 30s at night. Then you might need all that. That also brings me to the water level. Yes, we all know water fluctuates up and down and it rains over here and then all of a sudden the river's, that's okay. The river flows faster like that and it pushes you along. But if it doesn't rain over here, the water level could be, and all of a sudden there's rocks. If the water is too low, then it's technically deemed dangerous. All right, so that brings me to one of the last phases of the planning, and that is the pack up dry run. So while you're doing your pack up dry run, This is when you've done all your planning, you're a couple days out, and you understand the weather, you understand the water levels, you understand your float plan, where you're going to go, where you're going to stay. You understand all of that. Your planning is done. Now it's time to make sure that everything fits and where you're going to store it, because consistency is key, especially when it comes to maintaining your level in the water. That's why pack up dry runs are kind of important. And along with doing a pack up dry run, you're also double checking your entire food supply. You're double checking all of your equipment because you don't want something to fail or you don't want to forget something. And you're also double checking the most important thing to bring, and that's your first aid kit. So I think that covers just about everything you need to know when it comes to planning out longer camping trips on your kayak or canoe that you just got. And just to recap, it's make a float plan and hand it off to somebody that you trust. Make your reservations. Do it well in advance too, because you don't want to get there and try to make a reservation the day ahead. All of a sudden, there's no more spots. Make sure your cars don't get towed. Double check the weather as the time comes closer. Do a dry run and make sure that you have all of your equipment, all your food. And also make sure that your first aid kit or medical supply kit is topped off. And last but not least, bring cash just in case. So again, if you guys like the content that I make in my videos, please like, share, and subscribe. And follow us on Facebook at Backyard Kayaking. We also do a little bit on TikTok as well at Backyard Kayaking. Don't forget to share us among your friends. Check out some of the other videos we've done. Weekiwachi is a good day trip and King's Landing is also a good day trip, so go check those out. We hope to see you guys out on the river. Thanks for watching. Happy paddling.